today we're going to go over Scrapple from the Apple. You can get it, this is just the Omni book. I suggest everybody have one of these. So if you don't have it, you can order it on Amazon. It's called the Charlie Parker Omni book. It has Charlie Parker's transcriptions, and it's actually a must-have for any jazz musician. So in Scrapple, this is a good tune to go over some of the bebop exercises that I have on the site already. So let me have a little more light. What I'm addressing is both types of bebop scales, right? You have your bebop scale that is for the dominant, then you have your bebop scale for your major. And so for your dominant, you have your half step between the 8 and 7, or 1 and 7, depending on how you number it. And the same thing, you have a half step, but it's between 5 and 6 on the major. So for Scrapple, we're going to use two different bebop scales. The first bebop scale is going to be the C dominant bebop scale. And the second bebop scale is the F major bebop scale. Some of these you're going to have to develop your own fingering for, especially if you're used to learning your scales with the proper fingering. So in bebop scales, you can use 4 a lot more. In the regular major scales, you just use 4 would just be on one note, and that's it for all the scales in the major scales. But for the bebop scales, you can use 4, and that can give you some speed. I'm not really into teaching bebop scales through like actual as scales. I think they're more like sounds, and if you approach it that way, it might open you up a little bit into the actual sound of bebop, which isn't just based on the scales, but the scales do help organize. The bebop note helps organize the scale to be more even. That way you can hit the chord tones right on the downbeats. Right. So in this case, let's get back to Scrapple. Scrapple, for the first 4 bars, I believe, is going back and forth between a G minor and a C7. All right. Something along those lines for the melody. But if you check out the chord changes, so the first 4 bars you're just playing G minor 7, C7, G minor 7, C7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so in that first 4 bars, that section, you can use your C bebop scale up and down if you like to in time. I suggest doing that. Now, in my exercise, we run down the scale starting on the 1st degree, 3rd degree, 5th degree, and 7th degree. So it's going to sound like this. The second half of the exercise, you can go down a few videos and you'll see the bebop exercises. Up 2 notes and come back down. So you're adding 2 notes to the scale, but it works out evenly because it's you're adding 4 beats, 4/8 notes. So now getting back to Scrapple, just start simple. 4 beats in your left hand, and you can repeat that so you can practice these exercises. Start working around now trying to make melodies and using that sound. See how now you can start working out different rhythms in your left hand. So once you're finished with the first 4 bars, then you can move on to the second 4 bars, which has a ascending chord progression. And then 2/5 going back there sometimes. So in this case, I'm just going to kind of use the F major scale as a blanket scale over all of those changes, all of those ascending. And I'll probably use some sort of shell voicing in my left hand. So my right hand is going to just be using that sound. And you can see how it kind of fits right in with the chord progression. You kind of want to follow the same rules as the bebop scale in terms of landing your chord tones on downbeats. In this case, your chord tones will be 1, 3, 5, and 6, right? And then dominant. Here's your major. It's good to practice your dominant scales coming up on the bridge, right? try to listen to how they construct their eighth note phrases, and I would basically use the transcription. I would use this knowledge to hear the transcriptions better, and then go after what Charlie Parker is doing and what Bud Powell is doing and these great musicians and how they use it. But they're not actually using scales. This is a good way to explain the sound and to get your ears used to the sound. That's really what the exercise is for. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. I'm sorry if it was dense, but this is a fun topic for me. It's like building a puzzle. So I will see you all later, and have a great day.
Thank you.